Oh, it's a yodel. And I got under David's skin in the green room maybe a bit. But there's nothing new about that. I've been doing that for about 45 years. Oh, we haven't had a green room for 45 years, though. But you know what's really funny? I don't think Zoran Mamdani is 45 years old either. But he wants to be the mayor of the biggest city in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't followed any election politics, there is a clown. I call him a clown. His name's Zoran Mamdani. And Zoran Mamdani wants to be the first socialist to run the largest city in the world. I mean, in Canada, or United States, not Canada. But I can honestly tell you, people in New York are just starting to feel disenfranchised about going to the election poll, feeling that he may just take it and my vote won't count. Hey, everybody, my name's Stuart Brisgell. That's David Solomon. This is the Rant Network, a go-to podcast, unfiltered, unapologetic discussion, hosted by us every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern over the last 5 years. We tackle a diverse range of topics with candid conversation, bold opinions, whether it's breaking down the latest headlines, exploring pop culture, debating politics, or delving into complexities of modern life. This is a platform for every perspective. Grab a seat, settle in. We're going to come for you, Zoran Mamdani, in the word wingle. All right. This guy, I keep seeing his smile. I keep hearing his voice, and all I want to do is throw up. There's some politicians that just bring the best out of me. And you know what, David? The best out of me is me getting a little vicious and a little fun. But, for this topic, I'm going to opine and send him over to you, because if we talk about affordable housing, cost of living, public safety, healthcare, climate justice, education, and economic justice, I think I'm going to just sort of smack my head against the microphone. All right, David.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, here is the situation at hand. I'm going to ask you all a question. If you had an employee who didn't show up to work on a regular basis, what would you do with that employee? And what if your employee demanded, that same one came to you and demanded a pay raise, a significant pay raise, because he believes that that's what he's worth? What would you say? On both occasions, what the heck? That's Zoran Mamdani. Zoran Mamdani did not show to work in the legislature. He's absent. Didn't present any bills. Sound familiar? AOC? And then what does he do? He votes for the biggest pay raise any representative has ever gotten. And this week, during the last debate before the election, former Governor Cuomo went after him and asked him, what the heck? It's amazing how the man wants to represent the poor, but then demands a serious pay raise. But caught with the fingers in the cookie jar, eh? So where does he stand? He constantly talks about being a progressive, and he's going to help the people. But he cozies up with the people who actually are anti-gay. He calls himself a progressive, that he's going to support those rights. But his best buddies hate and are anti-gay. They're also the kind of people who support terrorism, folks. Remember? They're the kind of people who tried to destroy New York City in 1993. We talked about this the other day. I know. But after the debate, the question becomes, why does this guy think he's right for the job? And folks, what Stuart said at the beginning is what's appalling. We looked at the surface of this guy, young, good-looking fellow, talks well, says the right words. But folks, take off the beautiful shine, and what you find underneath is rotten in hell. The man has really, what is he trying to do? Does he really care about New York? If he did, show us a track record. Stuart, I have a friend whose brother is in the Albany legislature. He's one of the, and when I asked him years ago, what is the responsibility, and he said, look, his responsibilities, he's got to show up, he's got to present bills, and he's got to vote. He's got to represent his constituents.
Yep.
What was Zoran Mamdani doing? Zoran Mamdani is incredible. They talk about Donald Trump being a used car salesman in the way he acts and the way he carries himself. Zoran Mamdani is a luxury used car salesman. He says the right thing, and he's trying to sell you a Mercedes at the cost of a Fiat. He's trying to tell you that he's going to bring government-controlled grocery stores. He's going to bring in rent control. He's going to do all these things, but he isn't telling you how it's going to work or how he's going to pay for it.
Nope.
His plan is shoddy and full of holes like Swiss cheese, but it sounds good. And he has a lot of support from people, young people, who weren't alive at September 11th, 2001, or for that matter, for the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. These are people that he's appealed to. He's gone to the teachers' unions that are staunchly anti-Semite, other unions that are staunchly anti-Semite, and has the gall to ask that he will want to keep the current police chief in place. But, oh, by the way, I'm looking to cut funding to the police. That's exactly what New York needs.
Oh, no, he wants to change the 911 to be the decision maker, whether or not we have to send a policeman or a social worker.
A social worker, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I listen. I've met a lot of law enforcement. One of the most dangerous calls to ever go to is a domestic dispute, and you can't identify a domestic dispute from Swiss cheese either. And yet, this guy thinks that he is going to be able to manage a system that's going to control that. Now, again, this is a guy who's been anti-police from the very beginning. He's been very much anti-Israel, wants to arrest Netanyahu. He wants to take the money from the rich, wants to take white neighborhoods, make them pay more. He is like against America over and over and over again. I have not heard a single American or even Western philosophy. Everything is right out of a friggin' socialist communist book or out of the Middle East from a 7th century religion. He won't even condemn the action of October the 7th that we spoke about for like almost 2 years. It's atrocious. This guy is on a level where they talk about Nazi, and the Democrats like to call the Republicans Nazis, and about how they promoted hate. This guy is the definition of it in the extreme socialist party. I mean, I can't even smile as much as this guy does. And I'm a happy guy. David, if a New Yorker doesn't go and vote for anyone else other than him and decides to stay home, they casted a vote for him.
Oh, it's what's basically scary, Stuart, is that like a lot of other municipal elections, there's not a big, huge turnout. And that's the problem. And in this election, in which you have a very controversial individual, and you know what this guy loves to do?
What?
And here's his thing. When you go after him, what does he do? You're going after me only because I'm Muslim. Let's play the race card. Let's do that again. Because that's what young people hear. The young people are like, oh, he's a racist, Islamophobic. That's the word they like to use, Islamophobic. Fear of Muslims. It's bullshit. It's not about a fear of Muslims. It's a fear of what this guy, particularly Zoran Mamdani, wants to do in New York City.
Yep.
Did he call for the arrest of Vladimir Putin?
No.
Ooh. Did he call for the arrest of any African leader assassinating, massacring Christians? Nope.
How about Assad? How about a Syrian,
No,
Lebanon?
no, no, no,
How
no,
about
no,
the
no, 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 no.
Ayatollah Khomeini?
I'm
Let's
not
get an
talking.
arrest
No,
warrant
no,
on the
no,
Ayatollah
no,
Khomeini.
no, Stuart.
Yeah.
Why would you want to arrest your brothers and sisters? These are, but I'm talking about other war criminals. I guess it doesn't make a difference because the only one that matters and the only one that keeps reappearing in the election is Israel. If you haven't figured it out, the man accuses you of everything that he is.
Yep.
He's a racist.
Yep.
He is anti-gay. He is anti-capitalism. He's anti-American. He hates what you stand for. And that smile
Smug,
is
smug.
that smug smile, as Stuart wants to correct me, simply put, guys, is his way of saying, gotcha. You've been caught up with the woke ideology. You've been caught up in this socialist love affair that doesn't exist. The sad part, Stuart, is places like Columbia University, he wants to encourage more campus action, not discourage what has gone on for the last 2 years. He loves the idea of anarchy. And he is going to do what's exactly going on right now in many parts of the UK, France, Belgium, Spain, and other countries. He wants to bring you towards Sharia law. It's not there today, but it's coming. And it's going to affect you. Now, yes, New York City has a 2-term limit. Thank God, because you've had such crazy mayors that it's not a bad idea to only have a 2-term limit. Hey, Congress people, you should also have a limit, but let's not go there. But Zoran Mamdani can do excessive damage over the next 8 years. And someone asked me, Stuart, like what? And I said, I'll tell you what. Could you imagine the New York Stock Exchange picking up and leaving New York City? Could you imagine all of these financial institutions with their heads offices? Many still left. A lot of them left New York City already, but many are gone away. Look, you already have a mass exodus of people who are living in New Jersey and Connecticut because they don't want to live in New York City. They don't like what they see and where this is going. It's not about money. Yes, there is a cost of living that is higher. There's no doubt about it. But these people are commuting hours to go into Manhattan for work and into New York City to avoid the lifestyle that New York City promotes. It's not, look, as a tourist, Stuart, you and I, we go there. We'll go to Broadway. We'll check out Manhattan. We'll go to the Statue of Liberty. We see the beauty of New York City. But when you live there and you go into the subway and you're scared that you might be killed, be pushed in front of a car, or you're going to be mugged. But now that's not good enough. You've already had people like Letitia James doing stupid shit. And you've had other people do stupid shit in this city. How much worse do you want this to get? Because I think Zoran Mamdani is taking New York City into an abyss. He's going to take New York City and he's going to, I saw this and it's a sad thing. He's going to put a hijab on the Statue of Liberty. If that's what you want to turn this, and this is not Islamophobia, and don't throw that at me right now. He wants to change the New York City culture. Socialism doesn't work. It doesn't work in the US, and it shouldn't work in New York City. And he's going to try to make it work, and he's going to break you. Is that what you want? So on November 4th, people, if you think it's not imperative to go vote, big time. It's huge. And not like the other candidates are gold. Believe you me. But of the alternatives, your choice is Zoran Mamdani, a guy who's about to ruin your city in a way you will never recover from, or the other two candidates. Stuart, I don't know about you, but I don't think I want to call New York City anymore New York City.
All right. Guys, on that note, it's Friday. I'm calling it quits. I'm saying we'll see you here on Monday. I'm bringing this podcast to a close, and that is a wrap. All right, guys, we truly appreciate you tuning in to this new, more spiritually blessed. Rant Network. As we dive into New York and New York's problems. But then again, we are here to support any engagement from anywhere in the country, around the world, an honest, open, thought-provoking conversation. Don't worry, we're here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. We pop up little clips, and we pop up the big one every day at noon on those days, Monday, Wednesday,